So I'm going to welcome up Chris Rimmer for our little interview. And I'm going to say bye to James. Bye, James.
Goodbye. You taking this? Thank you.
Welcome, Chris.
Well, where are we sitting? We're sitting this far away?
Presumably that's what the chairs are for, so I'm going to go
We
for
either
that.
sit on the same one or we sit like miles away. Why don't we drag one closer? Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do that?
That would be a bit of effort.
Or will that? Okay, fine. I'll just sit miles away. Just lean over this side. How is everyone
good.
today? Good. Couple of thumbs up.
Couple. That's strong. For Monday morning. Morning? Oh gosh. Monday evening. That's strong. Okay. So Chris, tell us about yourself. What brought you here? Who are you?
My name is Chris, and what brought me here? So I am 27 years old, and I study theology here. I'm actually training to be a vicar, which is a bit strange for some people, but I'm training to be a vicar. So I initially grew up in the south of England, and I absolutely love sport, play all sorts of sport, and then I went to Durham University, took up rowing there. I think became pretty good at that. It is about as much you can say when you're British, and try and be a bit modest, but also I became pretty good, and then went and worked in Bath for a couple of years, and then came here. So yeah.
Amazing. So you're here in Oxford doing a bit of studying. What would be your favourite coffee shop to go to?
Favorite coffee shop. So I don't actually drink coffee. So I'd probably say Does it even do coffee? Noops.
Noops.
Who's been to Noops?
Knoops.
Has anyone been to Canoops? Unreal. Absolutely incredible hot chocolates they do. You've got to take out your student loan to pay for one, but they're really decent. I go for the super sweet white chocolate one, but yeah.
Ooh, I think I'd probably go for maybe 64% dark chocolate or something.
So yeah, just a normal hot chocolate then.
What? Is that not dark? I don't know. The dark ones, they're good.
Yeah,
White chocolate, maybe
it's
not.
Good.
But yeah, amazing. So you said that you're a vicar. Interesting. What led you to that?
I'm not a vicar yet.
Not yet.
I'm still
sorry.
normal right now. So
in process.
What led me to that? I think so. For me, my whole life, I've always been a Christian. I remember one of my earliest memories was praying with my mum and accepting Jesus into my life, and since then, I think it was just this process of getting to know Him better, getting to know Jesus better, and that's led that it wasn't totally smooth. University was great. It was challenging in many ways at Durham, I think over my life I've just got to know Him better, fallen more and more in love with Him, and having someone who I can always chat to is amazing. So that led me, I think, after university, after Durham, I thought to myself, I think my faith just became even more important to me, and then I realized, actually, maybe I want to serve God with my whole life, rather than just have Him as a bit of a side thing. Actually, I want to serve Him with everything. So I couldn't think of anything I'd prefer to do. I love working with people. So that led me to Oxford, which was brilliant, and I love being here.
Amazing. So you've told us a bit about how you grew up as a Christian and then university as well. How did you find being a Christian whilst doing a degree?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think I always went to church. I think there was elements which were hard, because I think when you get to know Jesus and you start reading the Bible and you start understanding what His plan for your life is, I think it starts to transform kind of the things that you do in life. So for me, I'm quite a competitive bloke. which probably explains the sport, and love rowing, which I'm actually representing OUBC today. So, any rowers in the house? Come on, there's one. There's one. I'm amazed you're here actually, because usually they're tucked up in bed by now, because they're waking up about 4 a.m. But yeah, so I'm quite a competitive bloke, and I really enjoyed, I think, just anything competitive. So at uni, I loved, I was just quite competitive in every area, which actually led into kind of, on nights out, I'd love like downing pints competitively, and that kind of became my thing. I realized I'm quite good at it, how to have a 3.8 second pint, which is not too shabby if I say so myself. I haven't done it in a while though, so don't challenge me. So that, I think, but what that led to was actually like a lot of times at university, I was just, I think, living in a way which I knew wasn't God's best for me, and actually there was like, you know, the feeling after a night out of just not feeling like great. Oh, come on, is there more to life? Like, actually, am I living God's best for me? And I know that he sets out almost like, they look like rules, but actually they're kind of boundaries for flourishing. And I realized that, I think I realized actually in the areas where I really followed like what the Lord said. The fact that I think it's pretty countercultural, but the fact that I wasn't like sleeping around, like that. In those areas, I really felt like I was living in the center of God's plan for my life. But in the other areas where I was kind of just doing my own thing, I always felt a bit like dissatisfied, if you know what I mean. So, what was the question again? What was it like being a Christian university?
Yeah.
I think it was challenging, but the Lord kept me. He kept me safe, and got me through. And actually, that was when I really started to, I think, properly pursue Him and put him like first above other things. And that led me here to lovely Oxford. It's a gorgeous place.
Yeah, so that's super interesting. So you did rowing whilst in Durham. You did a lot of sport, but you did rowing whilst in Durham, and a bit of rowing now, and some other things. How was being a Christian whilst having that very intense schedule? I have some rowing friends, and I feel like I see them once in a blue moon. So yeah, how was that?
Yeah, rowing is a bit of a unique sport, really. I'm amazed you invited me. Rowers are notoriously just quite boring people. Hence why there's none of them here. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. We're amazing. No. So basically, I mean, we had a super demanding schedule. Super demanding. It was like 6:30 till 8, and then 1 till 5 every day. We had Monday off actually, and then on weekends it was kind of we'd go to London. So that was kind of like a 7 till 6 days. So we're talking like 35, 40 hours a week, plus then having to do the degree on top of that. So it's super demanding, and a lot of you probably understand that to an extent if you're doing like anything extracurricular. It just feels like pretty intense. With that, I think the rowing for OUBC was like very stressful. Just constantly, I was in a selection scrap. My 2 years there, so demanding, so challenging, and I think just quite stressed, quite anxious, quite a lot of the time. And actually, it was so important to me. The most important thing was my relationship with God, my relationship with Jesus, and getting my identity from Him. And like this whole theme, what is that, like home and like belonging and stuff like that. I think it's very easy for us to get our identity from what we do, and that's like it's very easy to do, but it's actually a bit of a trap, because if ever that, then I remember losing the boat race first year, and that week just being really hard, and actually having to remind myself of the fact that God loves me regardless of what I do, and that's just, when you fully grasp that, it is so freeing. It just releases you. So I think it was challenging. It was challenging, but I also just, I think I just was so accepted as well by the boys. I was social secretary as well, so it was quite fun having like a trainee vicar who was a social sec, and they were like, I was organising the nights and the drinking and stuff. But I wanted to really bring like a fun culture without it having to be like a drinking culture or anything like that. So that's and actually the guys responded really well, and a lot of the we had like a bunch of Olympians last year, and they were like, there's something about this culture, and I really feel like it's because I wanted to bring what I've gained from just the fact that what I've gained from knowing Jesus, knowing church, being in church my whole life, and like bringing that when I can into kind of that environment, and I loved it. I had an incredible 2 years, and I've actually stopped now, so I've taken up triathlon and golf, and that's still less time than rowing. So yeah.
Wow, as you do. I couldn't personally do that. I think I wanted to do rowing, but there was a swim test, and I sort of crossed the line. Didn't cross the line even. I crossed it out at that. Not a great swimmer. So triathlon, as you do. Amazing. So some people, this is the first night of home. Some people here might be thinking, is it all really worth it? Can I come to all of these talks? What's sort of the point of this? What would you say to that?
Yeah, is it worth it? I think, 100%. I think I know that there's something deep down, probably in all of us. I feel like we've got this idea of like I'm built for something big. Like I want to do something big. I want to do something in my life. So there is that idea of I know that. I know that deep down, and I think when you join in with God's story for your life, and join in with this big plan for the whole of the world, the whole of eternity, that you get to be part of that, something massive, which will have like echoes in eternity, as the Gladiator phrase. Gladiator fan down the front, come on. So yeah, I think it's just knowing that there's like a deep purpose. That there's a deep purpose that I have, knowing that I'm totally and utterly, I know better who I am, because I know that God, because I know God, and I know Him well, and I know that He knows me well and loves me totally. So that's changed everything for my life. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, can we give him a huge hand, folks?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing.